Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I felt.
Hi, today I'll be talking a little bit of history of El Paso, Texas. It all starts with the arrival of the Spaniards, with Don Juan de Onate, who was the first European settler to arrive in El Paso, in a city called San Elizario, 30 miles downstream of the Rio Grande. Juan de Onate ordered his expedition to hold the first Mass of Thanksgiving by the Rio Grande on April 20th, 1598. Along with that, on October 12, 1680, Spanish settlement of Santísimo Sacramento and the Indian settlement of San Antonio celebrate the first Mass in Texas in the Celebración del Pueblo, which is now known as the oldest city in El Paso. The Mexican Revolution, which began in 1910, had a mass, which was intense war in Ciudad Juarez, when shots were fired, killed civilians in El Paso. Pancho Villa and Victoriano Huerta were also known to be seen in the city of El Paso. General John Pershing, who was stationed at Fort Bliss, was ordered to be in charge of the security of the borderlands of El Paso. He was involved in the raid with Pancho Villa in the Columbus, New Mexico on March 9, 1916. General Pershing also staged his area in El Paso High School Stadium, now Jones Stadium. The Roaring Twenties and Great Depression. The Plaza Hotel, which was Conrad Hilton's first high-rise hotel built in El Paso on September 12, 1930. The Sun Bowl. The Sun Bowl has been played there in El Paso since 1936. It is the second oldest collegiate bowl game played today, just next to the Rose Bowl. The Great Depression also had a great effect on El Paso, halting its boom years. A lot of Pasoans fled to westward for job opportunities. El Paso also had an influx of Mexicans and Mexican Americans, about 400,000 strong, to where they were repatriated between 1931 and 1934. The Civilian Conservation Corps and the Work Projects Administration helped the unemployment in El Paso with building structures and roads. One of the structures they built in El Paso was the Star on the Mountain on the Franklin Mountains. It's the world's largest illuminated star. It was erected in 1940. Another structure was the Mount Cristo Rey and the roads. It's not considered a crucifix, as you can tell by the palms and the crucifix. Palms are face down in a blessing gesture. Another thing that was developed in El Paso, Texas, was the Pachuco, better known as the Zoot Suit. It was developed between El Paso and Ciudad Juarez. It was then moved westward towards Los Angeles by the Mexican railroad workers known as troqueros. Go back. Okay. The Pachuco is a Mexican slang word for residents who lived in El Paso, Ciudad Juarez. The term El Chuco and El Paciente are terms of residents from El Paso, and it's still used to this day. On the post-war era, Werner von Buren and some German scientists who developed the V-2 rocket brought the V-2 rocket along with the parts to start the American project, American rocket project in El Paso on Fort Bliss. They brought the parts and everything until it was moved to Huntingsville, Alabama. A V-2 rocket display is still on display at Fort Bliss till this day. Francisco Pancho Morales first mixed the famous drink, the Margarita, in El Paso on July 4th, 1945. It was mixed in El Paso, Ciudad Juarez area, in a place called Tommy's Bar Place. A couple more interesting facts about El Paso is the International Hotel. The International Hotel, which is now known as a DoubleTree, had some famous people stay in the hotel, such as Elvis Presley, Steve McQueen, Ally McGraw. We have the El Paso Street, which is the first and oldest street in El Paso, from back in 1882. They had infamous people walk on that same street, such as Wyatt Earp, Pat Garrett, Billy the Kid, President Taft, and Pancho Villa himself. The Isleta del Sur Pueblo is the only one of two reservations in Texas. Isleta del Sur Pueblo is still up and running as a church itself. Also, El Paso is the only major city in Texas that is in the Mountain Standard Time, for some more interesting facts. At this time, I've covered the arrival of the Spaniards, the Mexican Revolution, the post-war era, the Roaring Twenties, and the Great Depression, along with some interesting facts of El Paso. I hope at this time I've informed you of some interesting factors of El Paso and make El Paso make you understand what El Paso really is. At this time, thank you very much.